What's up, y'all? It's your boy Shazni. Happy New Year. 2023, we here. A big year ahead for me. A lot of my work, meaning my two of the short films that I've been working on, should see the light of day sometime during this year. So I'm very excited about that. And yeah, so for all of you who's watching, Happy New Year. Hope y'all have a great year ahead and accomplish greatness. Or at least plant them seeds. Last year was a very exciting year for cinema. We got to experience a lot of different variations of storytelling and theatrical experiences. And these are my 25 best films. Of course, I have not seen every single film out there, but this list contains the ones that I found best amongst the one I've seen. This list also includes Indian cinema. Usually I would do separate videos, but last year Indian cinema has been really pushing boundaries in terms of their execution, so I thought a lot of the films really merit being part of this list. And of course, this is my own personal list. Y'all can leave yours on the comments down below, which is something I'm looking forward to seeing as well. Plus, keep in mind, there won't be any reviews for these movies. I may share a few words, but I'm going to keep it moving. Alright, so let's get this rolling. Number 25, KGF Chapter 2. This film defines the peak of masala cinema in modern era. In the past, Indian cinema has provided some great legendary masala films, but KGF 2 delivered a mass masala film on the highest scale possible, and it's absolutely glorious. Although this film is from Indian cinema, I do want to mention the specific industry because you got to give credit to the each individual industries. As much as people now are calling it Indian cinema, it's important, but it's also you need to be aware from which industry is actually coming from, I believe. And this is from Kannada, and they've been killing it. And this won't be the only time you'll be seeing a film from the Kannada industry. So let's keep it moving. Number 24, Unbearable Weight of a Massive Talent. A Nicolas Cage film. If you're a fan of this is a must watch. It's funny, but I love how they've taken the comedy seriously. The way it's shot, the compositions, the filmmaking behind this film is actually so well done. It's funny, it's hilarious, but you can tell they care about what they're putting out there, and they were not throwing everything against the wall and see what sticks. There was a purpose, there was an intention, and it worked really well for me. 23, RRR. Many people have spoken about this in the Western side, and of course, Indian cinema loves it as well. And this film has been the representation for Indian cinema this year. Is this the best they can offer? Of course not. But it's always great for the Western audience, like in Canada, United States, and around the world, to really see what Indian cinema can do to a certain extent. Because Indian cinema has far more richer, higher quality films. But RRR is a great entryway if you enjoy the essence, the energy, the songs, the dance, the action. It's a film from Indian cinema, but specifically from Tollywood. But this seems like to be a great entryway for many other people who are not familiar with Indian cinema. So RRR definitely deserves the hype and the praise it's got. 22, Prey. A movie I wasn't actually looking forward to. The premise just felt odd to me. I don't know how they were going to make it work, but then I watched it, and this was next level pure straight fire. The biggest hurdle for me was, will it be believable? Obviously, it's about a predator, it's an alien, all that kind of stuff, yes, but there's something about the first Predator where you believe Arnold did that. You know what I'm saying? There's that element of it. And we never really got to that level of greatness ever again until Prey showed up. I love how they build the characters plus the rules in which everybody operates. So when that third act hits, you buy it all, and it was glorious. 21, Ponniyin Selvan Part 1. This film for Indian cinema, this is specifically from Hollywood, Tamil cinema, was considered the most impossible film to make because it is based on a book. Ponniyin Selvan is theoretically what Dune was to Hollywood. Even though they're very different, in terms of actually executing those novels, they had the same hurdle. It was like impossible to do so. And we got Denis Villeneuve killing it, pulling it off with Dune, and Mani Ratnam pulled it off with Ponniyin Selvan Part 1. It's a single book. They split into two films. A part 2 is releasing this year. First day, first show, you already know. But yes, Ponniyin Selvan delivered in all cylinders. The casting were fantastic. And Rahman was a whole different playing field. But this man, two-time Academy winner, you already know his greatness. Ponniyin Selvan was a beautiful, epic adventure. Number 20, Nope. This movie is best experienced on the biggest screen possible. Jordan Peele came back with some real heat this time around. This is far more closer to Get Out than Us in terms of my experience because I loved Nope and the surreal experience I felt in that big IMAX screen. The way it was shot, everything you get out of this film is solely based on the cinematic experience Jordan Peele puts you through. If you vibe with it, if you connect with it, you may not be able to get all the points, but you know what's up. Number 19, Iravin Nizhal, another Indian film, specifically from Hollywood, Tamil cinema. It's a film that is done in a single take. It's a single shot film. It's also non-linear. How did he pull it off? You just gotta watch it. It's an incredible piece of work. This is one of those films I wish I got to see it in theaters, but I couldn't because they did not release in Canada. The movie's 90 minutes, and you're just blown away by the craft, the story, and what this filmmaker slash actor was able to pull off. Number 18, another Indian film coming from Hollywood, aka Tamil cinema, starring Kamal Hassan, directed by Lokesh Kanagaraj. This is an iconic film for Tamil cinema, and first of its kind in terms of what it builds. It started a whole new universe, and that's something that's never been quite done in Tamil cinema. I think in Indian cinema in general, on this scale and on this promise. Vikram is a badass action flick with lots of promise and lots of potential based on what's to come. Number 17, The Menu. A film I wasn't sure what to expect, but I love the cast in it. Anya Taylor-Joy, you already know. The pull for me was the cast. The performances were fantastic. This is one of those movies where if you buy into the final act, if the final act hits you, it makes sense to you, then you're going to end up loving the film. If the final act happens and you're like, what the hell was I watching? The only chance for you to even appreciating it will be to watch it again. My sister watched it. She just couldn't understand what the hell happened at the end. But for those who do, this movie is the one. Number 16, Sita Ramam, another film from Indian cinema. This one is specifically from Telugu industry, Tollywood. A beautiful classic love story. The performances were brilliant. If you missed that old school romance, this movie delivers in all caliber, in all cylinders. It just hits you in all the feels, and it is beautifully executed. Number 15, Ambulance, a heist film by Michael Bay, and I ate it up. This movie just worked for me, man. I loved it. It was crazy. It's insanely paced. It's super loud, and it was so freaking good. The action set pieces, the shootouts were fantastic. I felt all the hits. I watched it in IMAX, and I loved it from start to finish. It just hooked me to a whole different lane. This is the Michael Bay I truly, truly love. I appreciate Michael Bay for what he does, but when he does films like this, that's where he truly shines for me. Number 14, Tar. One of the greatest, for many might be the greatest performance of the year by Cate Blanchett. Incredible piece of work. It's a film that doesn't leave you. You're constantly thinking about it. It's not necessarily an easy watch, but it's super rewarding at the end of it all. I love how the film didn't tell me what to think and what to feel, and just let me experience this character and the character's thought process and that their mental complexities. And at the end of it, you feel what you feel and you walk away with that, and you can reassess and restructure, and you can constantly gain something out of it. An incredible film. Number 13, All Quiet on the Western Front. My God. When I feel like war movies has done the best they could at this point, and it all comes down to characters nowadays, this movie showed me a unique and a new perspective, in a deeper and a darker perspective of World War One. And it leaves you really numb, but not in a negative way. You feel the pain, the misery, the sadness of it all. But it's such an incredible cinematic experience. I wish I got to see it in theaters. It came out on Netflix. But man, the war sequences, the way it was shot, is visceral. You're right in there. The last time I felt this immersed into a war film was with Dunkirk. Like this film really moved me in ways I wasn't anticipating. Number 12, Kadaisi Vivasayi, another Indian film, and this one is specifically from Kollywood, Tamil cinema. I didn't know what to expect. People have been talking about this film forever. This movie came out in Feb, and I watched it literally this month. It is somewhat of a slow burn. It is an experience. It is a character journey, but it's really more so about farming and farming being a character, being the soul of it all, and what it means. I love how the movie didn't preach nothing to me, which most Indian farming films do. But this movie actually moves you and makes you feel the soul and the power of farming, what it all means, why it is so important, why it's so necessary, and why is it so beautiful. It shows you how it gives life to everything. It was powerful, but it was also executed in such a pleasant way. Because farming is usually shown in such a dark prospect, but here, even though there's certain circumstances that feel sad, it is executed in such a beautiful, elegant way that is welcoming to every group of people from every walk of life. That's what makes this film so freaking impressive to me. Number 11. This is probably the most underrated film of the year. It really flew under the radar. Most people haven't seen it. The Outfit. This is one of those stories that takes place in a single location, but it was so innovating. It's really about the characters and the performances and the way the director was able to handle all of it. It was super entertaining and very engaging, and the conclusion was absolutely badass. Like, that's what makes this movie so unique to me. Usually these kind of premises don't end this way, but the ending for this story was next level, pure straight fire. Literally. You know if you know. Number 10, Kantara. Another Indian film, and this one is specific from Kannada. What a immersive, mass, mythological film. What this director was able to pull off, it is so rooted to the culture, to its specific religion, to its specific folklore, and to present it in a commercial way that brings in many different kind of audiences and delivering such a powerful immersive experience, especially during that third act. It has all what you think a commercial mass movie should have, but there's so much more underneath, and there's so much layers, and the world that this film takes place in, super special, super unique, and I'm hearing there's going to be a sequel. I cannot wait to see where that leads. Number 9, The Batman. At this point, we've seen many, many Batman films, yet Matt Reeves was able to bring a new, fresh, interesting angle to the character. It's still dark, but it's still different from every other incarnation. And that's what makes this film brilliant. Because most of us know who Batman is at this point, his origins and all that kind of sorts. Yet to still make it innovating, that's what makes this film special. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's to come. Robert Pattinson was amazing in this film. And I really love the internal performance he delivered. And really relying a lot of the emotional tone within that and allowing the image to breathe. Number 8, The Banshees of Inisherin. This movie contains the most heartbreaking scene I've seen all year. And what's so crazy about that moment is the fact that I didn't even realize when it happened. Even when the film ended, I didn't quite realize what just happened. And I traced it back, and it hit me like a fucking brick. Ooh, that shit was painful. The movie doesn't really have a story. It's really about these characters and how they deal with a certain situation that happens. It is a beautiful looking film with so much darkness underneath. It is immersive. It is funny. The film works in levels in which it doesn't leave you for many, many days to come after you watch it. Number 7, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Yeah, me neither. I I did not think this film out of nowhere to end up this high on the list. Like all year, I couldn't care less about this film. I heard it was good and I went to check it out and I was blown the F away. It is easily the best animated film of the year. I might even say Toy Story 3. It's on that category, it's like Toy Story 3, the Incredibles level of greatness for me personally. I love the badassery animation it can pull off, and we haven't really got that in a long time. Visually stunning. It had everything I love about cinema in it in an animated form. So this for me had to be that high up. So that's Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Number 6, probably the most controversial one on this list, I would believe. I think Ambulance might be controversial for some people, but Babylon is my number 6 film of the year. Very divisive. I mean, my God. And box office ain't looking pretty. I mean, right off the bat, the box office terrible, and it hurts my heart because I love Damien Chazelle. You got Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt. The cast is incredible. I was really getting annoyed with the word of mouth this film was getting, but then obviously I was excited, so I was gonna go watch it regardless, and I did, and the movie really blew my mind. This was, I'll make it quick. This film is essentially 2001: Space Odyssey of a movie about filmmaking, right? Because this movie heavily relies on the era of Hollywood from the silent era to the talkies. That transition, the process, my God, it was incredible. And I really love the Brad Pitt character. I really felt him in ways I wasn't anticipating from start to finish. The editing is next level piece, straight fire. The pacing is incredible. The movie is 3 hours long, yet I was totally immersed. There was one moment with Tobey Maguire's character that it took me a while to understand where this is going. That's where the movie slows down. But when you get to the conclusion of it, it all makes sense. Maybe that part could have been shortened a little bit. That's the only thing kind of holds me back from it even being higher on the list. Because right now the spotting is very tough right now. It's very tough. You gotta nitpick to put this list together. But Babylon delivers, and the end. If you know how 2001: Space Odyssey end, that experience you feel, that's how you feel about cinema itself at the end of Babylon. If you watched it, you know what I'm talking about. And give it a shot, man. I know it's been mixed. I know the word of mouth is all over the place. If you love cinema, and if you're somebody who enjoys that era of Hollywood, the silent films and all that kind of stuff, and you're curious about how that worked and how the transition felt like and how the world looked in Hollywood during that time period, if you're interested in all that, in that history, definitely check it out. It is a love letter to cinema and how cinema can prevail through whatever darkness it may have faced and it may be still facing. In an industry that revolves around millions of dollars, there's always going to be lots of darkness. But I love how this film shows that cinema can always prevail and come through light. It's truly magical. Number 5, Vandhu Thanindhathu Kaadu. Another Indian film. This one is specifically from Hollywood, Tamil cinema. Directed by my favorite Indian filmmaker of all time, Gautam Vasudev Menon. Delivered another masterpiece. This is very much of a character journey of a young innocent man heading down a path where he didn't want to go, but had to get to become what he does at the end of it all. It's a special movie. The action set pieces are fantastic, but the performances, the writing, incredible. And this is only part 1 of this film. Part 2 is still in pre-production, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this journey and this character heads towards. Number 4, The Northman. Robert Eggers, you already know. And to see him do a film in this genre and somewhat more mainstream than the rest of his films was special to me. The film was badass, is beautifully shot, love the characters, and I love the internal performances here. A lot of it is very visually strong, and the climax, battle, front of the volcano, the final scream, that was it for me. A very exciting, dramatic, emotionally immersive Viking story. Number three, The Fabelmans. The GOAT, the greatest filmmaker of all time, Steven Spielberg directed semi biopic of his own life. And this film contains my favorite scene in a film all year. And I don't want to spoil the scene. There's a moment in the film, the divorce aspect of his parents' life comes together, and that's being revealed. The young Sammy looks at this mirror, and then he sees something. That moment, the movie just blew my freaking mind. It is beautiful, and I think many of us can relate. And what's so special about this film is whether you know Spielberg's personal life or whether you know his films or not, you can truly engage with this story and characters despite it all. So you can just walk in, experience this story about this young man's journey to becoming a filmmaker, and that's something many of us can somewhat relate to. For somebody who may even had an interest to pursue that path, for somebody who is pursuing that path, it was a special film, and it's so well done. I love the pacing of it. I had a really great time watching this film. Number two, my God, okay, I think I'm gonna call it. Oh, I don't know. I do not know. You know what? Okay, I think this is it. My number two, Avatar: The Way of Water. I'll say why my number one slightly edged it, but I think I'm gonna settle. I'm gonna settle with Avatar: The Way of Water being my number two. What can I say? This film left me speechless. Um, an incredible, beautiful IMAX experience. Visually, on a whole different lane. I mean, nothing's even close. Emotionally, super engaging. The third act is James Cameron's greatest hits. You know, him doing it, him showcasing his mastery of action. This film contains everything you love about cinema and more, and it's killing at the box office. And I cannot wait to see where the stories are heading and the characters are heading. I'm looking forward to Avatar 3, 4, and 5, and give me more because I love the world. I love the characters. I'm emotionally super immersed and hooked. Love the movie. It was worth that 13 years wait. I mean, god damn, over a decade. And it was all worth it. James Cameron, man. I never doubted him. Many people were. Never doubted him once. And obviously he came through. I mean, come on now. This man just does it, man. He just does it. He just delivers greatness after greatness. I mean, what can you do? What can you say? He's one of the GOATs. All right. Now we here at my number one. Top Gun Maverick. Everything I mentioned about Avatar 2 in terms of its pushing its boundaries of visual effects and what he does best, Top Gun Maverick does it in the practical effects, in the boundaries of practicality. How can you actually shoot it for real? I mean, Tom Cruise, one of the GOATs, one of the legends of cinema, does it again, delivers all sorts of greatness all the time to entertain us. But the reason Top Gun Maverick edged out, it was going back and forth. The whole day before I started filming, Avatar: The Way of Water was at my number one spot. I had to rewatch Top Gun Maverick before making this, just to kind of give my final point, because I did watch Avatar: The Way of Water again the day before watching Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, I took this this list very seriously. But yes, the only reason why it edged it out is because of the pacing. I love the Top Gun Maverick pacing slightly more. It's perfect. The pacing for Top Gun Maverick, it is absolutely perfect. Beat for beat, does not miss. You're right there. It is constantly escalating. And the last 30-40 minutes, my God. This movie just delivers in every emotional aspect you can think of. When a film can deliver this level of greatness and emotional depth without really having a villain, like forget about a complex villain. There's like literally not really a villain. It's just an objective that you gotta meet. It's a mission that you gotta accomplish. That's the villain. The difficulty of the mission is the villain, and the movie still hits you hard. And at the end of it, you're cheering with the characters. I guess at this point, you shouldn't be surprised that the GOAT, Tom Cruise, delivers greatness. So with that said, guys, that is my 25 best films of 2022. Let me know how you felt about my list, but most importantly, let me know what's yours. You don't have to give me 25. Give me a 5. Give me a top 5 or top 20 or top 10. Do so. I'm very curious to know what was your favorites and what was your experiences like. With that said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure the thumbs up button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and see y'all on my next one. Salute.